Very good evening, everyone, and welcome to an overcast Tampines hub on the east coast of Singapore for match day 10 in the AIA Singapore Premier League. It's the Eagles of Geylang taking on the Cheetahs of Hougang, fourth taking on fifth. And realistically, if either side had aspirations of AFC Cup football or maybe even something more, with only 4 games left after tonight, maximum points are a must. Well, the last time these two teams met here at our Tampines hub, it was an absolute thriller back in September 2019. They served up a 4-all draw with Geylang surrendering a 4-2 lead inside the final 15 minutes. So we're expecting goals and we're expecting lots of action. And we will, of course, keep you up to date with the other game taking place in the AIA Singapore Premier League today as well. There's 2 matches tomorrow, remember, that concern the battle for the top spot. Albrecht's Nagata taking on the Lion City Sellers at Bishan, and Tampines Rovers visiting 7th place Tanjong Pagar United. But today it's all about Geylang Hougang and Balestier Khalsa against the Young Lions. That's taking place in Bishan. You can follow that one live across Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook and social media platforms, and One Play Sports as well. And warm greetings wherever you're joining us around the world. We are now into the home stretch in terms of the Singapore Premier League season. After today, just 13 days to go. So I'll get you up to speed with the team news in just a couple of moments' time. And speaking of the team news, the big question mark going into today was the fitness of Khairul Nizam. We'll find out right away what his status is. We'll also hear from the Hougang assistant manager, Firdaus Kasim. But first, here is Noor Ali, the head coach of Geylang International.
Since scoring the goal of the season contender against Tampines Rovers, you have used Khairul Nizam sparingly, and he limped off in the last game as well. Can you give us an update on his condition?
I mean, he's out for today's game. Basically, I think he had a hamstring pull during the Tanjong Pagar game. And I think it's a bit concern for us at this point in time because I think he's quite a key player for us, especially going towards the end of the season. But I think saying that, I have people like Faris, Iqbal, and I hopefully, you know, they will just stand up and come out and perform for this game.
Speaking of Faris, he has an excellent goal-scoring record against Hougang. How much does that play into your consideration when selecting players, having a player have such a goal-scoring record against a particular opponent?
I mean, to be honest, Faris is not supposed to start the game today, you know, because it's basically Nizam supposed to start and I'm supposed to rest Nizam the last game, but because of Amy injury, I have to bring in him. But saying that, I think Faris has a very good record against Hougang. You know, I think last year he scored a hat-trick at OTH, which we drew the game 4-4, you know. And I think based on selection, it's all down to the player's performance during training, you know, and he looked sharp, you know, and I think he really wants to play, you know, and hopefully get some goals for us tonight.
Since the restart, it's been exactly 6 games and your club's results has been 2 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses. What do you attribute this inconsistency to?
I think it's fatigue. We're playing back-to-back matches from the start of the season. Well, other teams actually had maybe a bye during these 6 games, so it's one of the factors, of course. But we're also trying to adapt with injuries and players who maybe are coming in, new players, for example. So it's about adapting right now. We're not trying to give excuses. We just try to improve game by game, and hopefully we can finish the season on a high.
In recent times, matches between Geylang and Hougang have been really high scoring. Do you foresee an equally open game this evening?
Well, on my part, I hope that we don't concede that much. And obviously, I think we all want to see an entertaining game. But at this point of time, I just want to get the 3 points.
So the thoughts of the two coaches ahead of this one. Injury problems for both sides. Khairul Nizam, obviously, an absentee, as you've had confirmed from the man himself, Noor Ali there. He is out with that hamstring problem. And Hougang United not only losing Stipe Plazovat to the Lion City Sailors post-COVID, Sahil Sohaimi out for the season with an ACL injury, and Norful Azam with a knee fracture also out for the campaign. Still plenty of top talent to watch, though, here. And we'll be keeping an eye on several players throughout the course of the 90 minutes. And there's a man that you certainly don't want to take your eyes off. Iqbal Hussaini starts today on the bench. But as you heard from Noor Ali, he is the kind of player that can pop up and score really important goals. Iqbal Hussaini's got 2 already this season, and he's a fine man to have in your armoury to bring off the bench late in a game. There's Shafiq Ghani. They welcome him back. Hougang do today after that red card he picked up against the Young Lions in that topsy-turvy game last Thursday. But they, of course, come here, Hougang, off the back of that 3-1 defeat against the Lion City Sailors when they, in truth, were never in the contest. So there's a look at Shafiq Ghani and the form guide for Hougang coming in off the back of that loss. And as you heard our expert interviewer Travis Tan allude to, it's been very much inconsistency, the order of the day for Hougang, who had such a tremendous season last campaign, finishing 3rd and qualifying for the AFC Cup. So Geylang will go into this one a point in front of Hougang in the table as our officiating crew, led by referee Jansen Fu, walk out onto this magnificent stadium. I keep saying it, it's my favourite stadium to watch football in Singapore. It's very unique in terms of it forms the hub of our Tampines hub, a great complex if you've never visited Singapore that's surrounded by all kinds of leisure, entertainment and retail experiences, and there's something special about it. It's enclosed, it's buzzing, and even with no fans allowed in with our COVID restrictions, it always seems to serve up special nights, and we hope this is another one. Geylang first out, led by their long-standing captain, Yuichi Ichikawa. Faris Farhan there, again you heard Noor Ali talk about him. 6 goals in his last 3 games against Hougang. He's scored against them the last 5 times he's played. And Hougang with just 1 clean sheet this season. You do get the feeling there'll be goals in this, and the last 2 times they've met here, that 4-4 draw I referenced in September and the 2-2 draw last July. So they're usually competitive, they're usually entertaining. And both these sides have been, to quote Forrest Gump, a bit like a box of chocolates since we came back from COVID. You never know what you're going to get. What you do get with Hougang is a very tactically astute manager in Clement Teo, and they have made those 3 changes from that defeat at the hands of the Lion City Sailors, and they'll wait and see if that sees them to better effect. So they'll go through the pre-match fist bumps, and then we'll be able to update you with confirmation of the starting lineup. I can give you a sneak peek now by telling you that both teams have made 3 changes from their last starting 11s. Smiles all round for most of them. There's the short man, Zach Anderson. Don't think we're going to get tape and numbers on the legs today. Him and Lionel Tan have become short brothers. It's been very cute to see. Lionel Tan influenced by Zach Anderson, who scored his first goal of the season in that 4-1 win against the Young Lions. Charlie Mackell, incidentally, is on a goal-scoring streak of 2 goals in his last 2 games, including that late penalty against the Sailors last time out. So Jansen Fu, our referee, assisted today by Abdul Hanan and Alson Fu. The 2 skippers, Yuichi Ichikawa and Ridwan, meeting in the middle. When these teams met earlier in the season at the Hougang Stadium, you may remember it was that incredible game where Chris Van Heusen, who starts on the bench for Geylang today, scored those 2 amazing long-range efforts that somehow escaped Khairulin not featuring for Hougang post-COVID. So I wonder if we'll be seeing Geylang trying their luck in a similar vein against Ridwan, who has played some good stuff for Hougang since he established himself as the number 1. Amy Retcher, good to see him on the bench. They've got a very strong bench, Geylang, there, haven't they? The 3 changes they make from the team that won 2-1 against Tanjung Pagar here on Tuesday night. Hyrule back in goal. Adam Hakeem comes in, and Faris Farhan with that incredible goal-scoring record against Hougang. He makes a starting 11 as well. And on the bench, Van Heusen, Iqbal Hussain and Amy Retcher, all real good options for them. As for Hougang United, similarly, 3 changes they make to the team that went down to the Sailors. Shafiq Ghani's back from suspension from that red card he picked up against the Young Lions. Shawal Anwar is also back in the starting lineup, and it's a first start of the season for young Justin Hee as well. He's had a couple of appearances off the bench, but it's his first chance to start. Fabian Kwok, maybe surprisingly, only on the bench today. Nikesh Singh Sidhu capable of doing a job off the bench as well. And Anumanthan Kumar, certainly a player to keep an eye out should he get the chance to impress as a substitute for Clement Teo's men today. So you heard the Geylang hoo-ha in their match huddle. There's Hougang's one. And there is the coach of Geylang International, Noor Ali. Lovely guy, one of the nice guys of Singapore football. Always happy to have a chat. Clement Teo, just as good a coach, but a little bit harder to talk to. I think Clement will be the first one to acknowledge that. He keeps his cards very close to his chest, and who can blame him and who can fault him, bearing in mind since he's taken over from Philip Orr 2 years ago and more now, they have enjoyed great success, including that third-place finish last season. So realistically, an AFC Cup spot is on the line for either of these two teams. You get the feeling both of them won't be qualifying for the AFC Cup, so 3 points this afternoon could be vital. Referee Jansen Fu gets us underway. It's the Eagles in the green and white playing from left to right, and Hougang in the blue-white shorts playing right to left. And straight away it goes back to Hyrule. Under pressure, Hyrule as well. He had to get that away very quickly. And now it's a chase on for Nur Luckman, but the flag was up for offside just inside the Hougang half. Barry Maguire, I think I'm right in saying, picked up man of the match honours against Tanjung Pagar on Tuesday night. And goals from Sharid and Fariz were enough to see Geylang through against Tanjung Pagar, who had that very good effort from Luis Jr. that gave them a squeak, but really came too little too late for them. Under a bit of pressure there is Shafiq Ghani, back from that red card for 2 yellows against the Young Lions. Both those yellows coming in the first half. You can see both sides pressing hard, and Zach Anderson finds a pass straight to a green shirt. That wasn't part of the plan. So Geylang enjoying a decent spell here early. Cross comes in from Darren Tay, and a chance of Barry Maguire, and a real chance as well. And he's almost hooked that one wide. I don't think he appreciated how much space there was in front of him. It was a real opportunity for the Dutchman there. And Hougang survive an early Eagles scare. Nice ball in from Darren Tay, spotting the run of Barry Maguire. And he did have company in the shape of Lionel Tam, but I think he'll be disappointed, Barry Maguire, there. He didn't at least make Ridwan in the Hougang goal work. Seems to be playing very advanced today, Barry Maguire. Belted away uncompromisingly by Fariz Farhan. Who just ended up giving the throw to Hougang inside the danger area. Played back by Charlie Mackle on that two-game goal-scoring streak. Zach Anderson will go home here to Ridwan, and again, all these players seem to be under orders to put the goalkeepers under plenty of pressure today with lots of high press. Here's a marauding run from Umar Akbar, and he'll pick up the free kick, much to the disappointment of Charlie Michael. You can see the rain, which has been an issue in the area all afternoon. We did have a lightning warning system in effect right up until the cut-off time for 4:30, but luckily we're able to start on time. So what can Geylang do with this free kick? Fariz Farhan is over it. All eyes on him with that incredible goal-scoring record against Hougang. It would take something special to score direct from this, though. Fariz Farhan's cross is a good one, and punched away by Ridwan, only as far as the edge of the area, but the long-range shot that comes in is a long way off the mark from Harith Gennady. So Hougang, as we've seen quite frequently this season, opting to go for the short goal kick as we get another chance to see Harith Gennady's effort go wide. And the short free kick's going to be interesting, bearing in mind it looks like both teams are going to try and put pressure on the goalkeepers. Here's Noor Luckman trying to do just that to Ridwan. Oh, that's a decent flick initially, and he's won the second phase here, Justin Chui, and will come up with the throw. For Hougang. Hougang's first chance to really put pressure on here. Shafiq Ghani, oh, it's an intelligent pass through, and the danger's not cleared yet. This is going to come to Farhan Zulkifli. Farhan Zulkifli probing cross and coming and claiming well. Hyrule in the Geylang goal. It's back to Ichikawa. Yuichi Ichikawa, with all the foreign players plying their trade in Singapore, now into his 7th year as an Eagle. One of the longest serving players I think there's ever been in terms of one club from abroad. Wouldn't be far off being up there with one club amongst the Singaporean players as well. He's been a fine servant. Lionel Tan. Noticeable they're not turning those shorts into briefs today as they did in midweek. Here it comes to Anders Aplin, another one of the experienced players, and himself, of course, a former Eagle. Couple of former Eagles in the lineup with Anders Aplin and Shawalamwa, both knowing what it's like to don the green and white. I promised to keep you up to date with the other game that kicked off at the same time as this one, and of course I will do that. 0-0 between Balestier Khaosan and the Young Lions at Bishan. That game kicking off at exactly the same time as this one, as Charlie Michael tries to get them moving. Here's Shafiq Ghani, and they'll find a man in some space here. That man is Nazrul. Nazrul, well, he was caught in two minds there, I think, whether to play it into Farhan Zulkifli or Shawalamwa. They've come up with the throw mind. At 6.5 in, it's only really Geylang that have threatened a goal. Nazrul was about to release that throw and then thought better of it. Nice layoff by Charlie Michael, but Geylang pick it up. Barry Maguire. And they've given it away again, but that'll be a free kick. Jansen Fu not hesitating for the foul just outside the Geylang penalty area. Of course, in terms of that battle, I mean, if you do accept, and I suppose realistically most people think now the title race is a three-horse race, mathematically it's not, but I think perceived wisdom says it is. You have to really look at a three-way race then for the two AFC Cup spots. You'd have to imagine Tampines Rovers, if they don't get AFC Champions League football, would have to have a spectacular collapse to fall out of that particular equation. But with Balestier, Hougang and Geylang all fighting it out, it's going to be an interesting running with those three teams. Of course, Hougang have proved it can be done last year. And the absence of Brunei post-COVID has made the league so compact. And obviously, as you heard referenced by Firdaus Kasim, it's been a very helter-skelter fixture list. I mean, we've still got 4 games to play for each team after this weekend, and they will all be played inside 2 weeks. So it's going to be non-stop action. Oh, he's gone down as if he's been caught quite badly there over on that far side for East Farhan. It was a real scream and a yelp. He doesn't seem to be too badly injured. It was a very high-pitched yelp as well from Fariz, but fortunately he's straight back up on his feet. Maybe that was for dramatic effect. Charlie Michael trying to improvise with a stooping header. Didn't work out. Barry Maguire. Nice one-touch football from the Eagles, but initially the touch is what lets them down. There's a clearance from Ridwan that is not what he intended. It's come to Darren Tay. Darren Tay with a cross through the middle, but that's easy enough for Ridwan to gather. Nicely held up by Shawalamwa. Here's Shafiq Ghani. Great to have him back for the Cheetahs tonight. Charlie Michael takes a deflection, and a diving header from Ichikawa sends it behind for the first corner of the game, and it goes to the visiting Cheetahs. Geylang 0, Hougang 0 here at OTH. Balestier Khaosan 0, Young Lions 0. We'll keep you up to date with the league table as it stands as well, because now we're really starting the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown in terms of games that are still to come. The league table is going to chop and change quite dramatically as it stands. It won't affect any of the top 3 places today, but Geylang starting the afternoon 4th, Hougang 5th, Balestier 6th, and the Young Lions 7th, and all 4 teams in action today. with the chance for Hougang to leapfrog Geylang with a win here. Corner from Hougang was not what they intended. Darante brings it away. No whistle, Charlie Michael, but the green shirts are swarming through the midfield, and Ferdhouse can help get them going down the right-hand side. They've got Barry Maguire for support. Played first time by Sharin. Over on the far side now, and it's just breaking down for both teams a little bit in midfield. Charlie Michael, who's playing out on the right today by the looks of things, gets it back to Zach Anderson. Lionel Tan does look a very positive presence, doesn't he, Zach Anderson? He is always one of the friendliest people when he arrives at the ground. He, like so many of the players nowadays, is out early doing his yoga exercises and stretching thoroughly. And he seems to be having a positive influence on his teammates around him. He plays that one out. Decent ball as well. Finds its target, but they have their pockets pinched. And it's opened up for Geylang all of a sudden to the edge of the area. The shot comes in, and it's just parried wide by Ridwan. The best opening of the game so far, and it came when Shawal Anwar couldn't hold on to a Zach Anderson pass. And it was a decent effort from Umar Akbar. He was looking for his first goal of the season. This wasn't far away from being it. Took no chances of that, Ridwan. It bounced just in front of him, which, regardless of the surface, can always present problems. So we've seen Hougang's first corner of the game come to nothing. What can Geylang do with theirs? It's delivered by Shawal Anwar, and it's just flicked wide by Ichikawa. When it came off his head, it looked like it was destined for the back of the net. A lovely set-piece routine, and Ichikawa, oh, so close to his first goal of the season. Lovely delivery from Faris Farhan, and Ichikawa's header just going wide. Lionel Tan. Again, Hougang, not the best, trying to play it out from the back. Still Balestier, Cowser nil, the Young Lions nil. It's great to see both the Young Lions and the Lions City Sailors in the SPL show with Duncan Elias Studios this week. Managed to catch up with Jacob Marler and Aurelio Vidmar, both in fine form. Jacob Marler having a great season for the Young Lions. Here's Barry Maguire, his touch lets him down, and a no-nonsense belting away from Justin Hui. Here's Sharin. Darante goes down, but on a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge with Farhan Zulkifli. The referee plays on. Afik Noor tries to get Hougang going down the right, where Charlie Michael's got a bit of space to operate in. Beats one man, but the pass just caught the intended recipient that little bit flat-footed. And ultimately, disappointment with Justin Hui, unable to get on the end of it. And at the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to get a repeat of that incredible 4-4 draw last September. But certainly, a theme from both sides appears to be putting goalkeepers under pressure as Ichikawa's back header is safely landed in the hands of Hyrule. Yes, obviously a huge miss, Kara Nizam, for Geylang. Kara Nizam and Iqbal Hussain given opportunities by Noor Ali to try and reinvigorate their careers, and both have done that. 6 goals between them this season. Kara Nizam with 4 and Iqbal Hussain with 2, but question mark over whether we'll see Kara Nizam again this season. Maguire is onside, and just doing enough coming out from his goal was Widwan. Faris Farhan now gets it back to the edge of the area. Cross comes in from Harith Kanadi, and Ridwan can gather, and Ridwan was sharp there. Came out of his area. They've again given away possession as they try and play it out from the back, and Charlie Michael's not happy. You've got to give the Ridwan in the Hougang goal a little bit of credit there, because Barry Maguire is getting in a more advanced positions than we're used to seeing today. He's only got the 1 goal this season in that 3-2 loss they suffered against Balestier. But he looks like he's in the mood to try and get one today. Darren Tay, he's bombing forward at regular opportunities as well, just behind Barry Maguire that time. He spreads it out wide. Comes out again to Harith Kanadi. He's already had one poke from long range. Darren Tay. Geylang certainly enjoying the better of this game now. Darren Tay out to the left-hand side. They've got plenty of green shirts in the middle. What's the cross like? It's decent. And the keeper gets enough on it, Ridwan. Hougang need to try and get their transition from defence to midfield better. Once again, they cough up possession, and once again, it drops to Barry Maguire with the cross. And that was an important touch from Lionel Tan. And Charlie Michael can bring it away, but it's a little bit hair-raising from the Hougang defence at the moment. There's our Genius Sports fans, friends. 4-0 on the shot clock to Geylang. Oh, that's a nice touch inside. I think he was offside, Farhan Zulkifli, so instead they go to Charlie Michael. Farhan Zulkifli's onside now. Can he get the shot away? Farhan Zulkifli. And that was never bending back enough. You'd have had to get some extreme bend on that to get it back round the 3 or 4 Geylang players that were in front of him. Ichikawa. Sharin. Ichikawa. Geylang having the better of it through the first quarter of an hour. Remember, we'll have a hydration break midway through each half. And 5 substitutes will be allowed in 3 blocks plus a half-time break as well. Ferdaus. Ferdaus again. Comes to Noor Luckman. Darren Tay. Darren Tay cutting inside, looking for the quick pass to Barry Maguire. Ram finds it. And again, they just cough possession straight back up. This time, Farhan Zulkifli, the guilty party. And Barry Maguire is running extremely hard in midfield to try and make sure Geylang win the early stages of that particular head-to-head battle. Maguire, again, he's probably had more touches than anyone else on the pitch through the first 17 minutes, the Dutchman. Back to Umar Akbar. Played across to Ichikawa. Oh, they've had their pockets pinched there, though. And Shafiq Ghani gets it away. Finds Shawal Anwar, who manages to put it inside to Justin Hui, and it's Ichikawa with some very strong defending, who concedes another corner. So for all that Geylang have enjoyed the better of it through the first 17 and a half, it's Hougang who will have a promising set-piece opportunity here, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Zach Anderson will be up from the back for this one. Shafiq Ghani over to take it. He scored twice in that 4-4 draw back in September 2019. What can Shafiq Ghani come up with here? Referee just having a chat with Charlie Michael about some pushing and shoving with Adam Hakim. Shafiq Ghani's delivery. Oh, it was always just bending too far back and too high as well. And it's into the roof of Hyrule's net, and it'll be a goal kick. So they've managed a couple of attempts on goal, albeit not on target, Hougang. Geylang still looking the more likely. Hyrule. It's an ambitious pass to the touchline that finds its target. Shafiq Ghani doing plenty of hustling, though. Wins the ball backhand as Aplin. That was a difficult pass for Shafiq Ghani to manage to keep hold of. Look at the skills there from Faris Farhan. That was masterful work from Faris. Maguire. More good quick movement. Look how far forward Darren Tay is. Darren Tay through on goal. Just one touch too many, and Zach Anderson can get there first. And that was impressive from Darren Tay. Like Barry Maguire here, appears to be playing at a slightly more forward position, yet to score this season. Darren Tay with only 1 goal, according to my stats, in his entire Geylang career. He had a good chance there to double his tally. Zach Anderson, calm as you like, didn't do anything rash that might have led to a penalty. Just saw that Darren Tay had taken 1 touch too many and took it off his feet. They get a corner out of it, though. Faris Farhan will take. Farhan's delivery, heads her up, and it's a really powerful header from Barry Maguire, but fortunately for Hougang, it's straight at Ridwan, who manages to gather. Another peach of a corner from Faris Farhan there. And they look like they're going to be a threat from those aerial set pieces all through the game. Look at this delivery, and look at Barry Maguire, left all alone, just outside the 6-yard box. And if that was either side, well, back the other end we go. Farhan Zulkifli dancing into the area. Farhan Zulkifli, oof, thought for a minute he was going to go down there. Gets it out to Shafiq Ghani. Oh, what on earth have they done there? It was going out for a goal kick. Instead, they presented a real opportunity to Justin Hui, who gets another chance to cross and find a blue shirt. And it's over them all, and Darren Tay now makes no mistake and gets it behind for a corner. But that was suicidal defending from Geylang International. What were they thinking there? Justin Hui, really, he needed some more defensive support there, because they were at 6s and 7s momentarily, Geylang. We talk about Hougang not keeping a clean, only keeping 1 clean sheet this season, I should say. Only 2 clean sheets have been kept by Geylang in a 3-0 win against the Young Lions and a 1-0 win against Hougang United. So both these defences have been vulnerable this season. That's headed away well by the Eagles. Back it comes to Afiq Noor. Zach Anderson was up for that, and they've not cleared this yet. There's an appeal as well, but the free kick will go the way of Hougang. Zach Anderson arguing the toss with Shafiq Ghani down on his backside. Being told from downstairs that Yuki Ichikawa, as Clement Teo is puzzled as to what that decision was for. Yuki Ichikawa is potentially carrying a knock here, and Iqbal Hussain may well be introduced early, so Geylang may be forced into a change here. Let's keep an eye out on Yuki Ichikawa. Zach Anderson, who's developing a good understanding with Lionel Tan. Lionel Tan back to Ridwan. Yes, that'd be an interesting change if they do bring Iqbal Hussain on for Ichikawa. They've mentioned that Darren Tay and Barry Maguire are playing further forward seemingly than usual, so they have got some room for manoeuvre in terms of tactical changes. But if the information I'm being given from downstairs is correct, Ichikawa for Iqbal Hussain is a... No, it's not exactly a like-for-like change, is it? That's what we're being told. Obviously, with COVID restrictions are up in the gods and having to rely on information passed to us from downstairs, these games being conducted under strict COVID-19 protocols. Everyone is vetted and checked. The players are undertaking regular COVID-19 checks, and they've done a great job, the Football Association of Singapore, to make sure that football's come back and we can get this season completed. Of course, it is very important to bring it back, with the added carrot that this season's top Singapore team will be straight into the AFC Champions League group stage next season, with 2 slots for the AFC Cup as well, of which both these teams will have their eye on one. Well, Ichikawa looks all right to me. We shall monitor that situation. Barry Maguire. That's played inside. They've survived 1 scare apiece, these 2 teams now. Barry Maguire in another forward roll. Can he keep this in? It was just beyond him. He got in behind Lionel Tan, but it was just behind him. And that will bring about the hydration break midway through the half. So chances at both ends, some questionable defending from either side. Barry Maguire and Darren Tay creating really good openings. Barry Maguire just hooking his shot wide, and Darren Tay not able to get the shot away before Zach Anderson took it off his toes, but there's been promise on both sides, the kind of promise that would suggest this game is not going to stay goalless for the 90 minutes. Let me update you what's happening at Bishan, with Balestier Kausa and the Young Lions are goalless after 25 minutes there. Here in the midway part of the first half in the AIA Singapore Premier League, match week 10. It is 0-0 between Geylang International and Hougang. Just to give you an idea of the running these two teams have. Geylang after today, they've got a midweek clash here against the Lion City Sailors. That'll be a big test for them, and they finish with 3 away games. Well, 1 is away, but technically it's the ground they share. After Lion City Sailors midweek, it's trips to Balestier, the Young Lions, and then they finish here on the 5th of December against Tampines in the one true derby in Singapore football. So imagine if Tampines is still gunning for the title and they've got Geylang to get past. Those two sides fought out a very tetchy 1-1 draw at the start of the month. As for Hougang, well, they're running. If you want to look at their chances of AFC Cup football, is not any easier. They take on Tampines in midweek at the Hougang Stadium, followed by a trip next Saturday back to the stadium they call home to take on Tanjung Pagar, then another home game against Balestier, and then a home game against Albrecht. So I suppose you'd say with more home games, Hougang, I should say, might just have the edge. But going into this one, remember, it's Geylang that are in possession of that 4th spot. Ridwan, Zach Anderson. Nazrul has it blocked by Darren Tan. This might spin back in the field of play, and it has done. Spun back towards the infield, so Darren Tay's industry there might end up creating a chance. Here's Barry Maguire. Clipped over the top. Are they onside here? They are. And Umar Akbar looking for support himself now. Or maybe to try and win a corner. Oh, nearly got it through to Barry Maguire. That was well watched by Charlie Michael. And then Farhan Zulkifli just can't keep it in. One other thing in these 15-game seasons, I'm getting a bit of an office bore talking about it all the time, but goal difference may well play a part come the end of the season. Hougang's goal difference at the moment 4 goals better than Geylang's, but Geylang could be in here. Maguire, well blocked. Lionel Tan, he seemed to bulldoze his way through there. Barry Maguire with a touch of skill for good measure, and it opened up for him once more. Ichikawa. Nice little bit of trickery from Harith Kanadi. Still Harith Kanadi. Fluffs his lines with the shot, and Zach Anderson can get it away. Charlie Michael with a head on. Shafiq Ghani picks it up. They've got a man over on that far side, but the coast control from Justin Hui, not what the doctor ordered on that occasion. Let's have a look at this from Barry Maguire. It was great work at the start of this move from Darren Tay, and Barry Maguire, he turns Zach Anderson inside out, and Lionel Tan, as all good centre-back buddies do, was over there covering for the Australian after Barry Maguire had sold him a bill of goods. Charlie Michael. Oh, that could be a foul, and it will be a foul for Sharin. Bringing down Farhan Zulkifli. No cards in this one thus far, but Jansen Fu is telling him no more. Sharin will know next time he commits a foul, he'll be in the book. Well, as we reminisce about that incredible 4-all game, it's worth saying that 28 minutes into that game, Geylang International were 3-0 up in that one with a Faris Farhan hat-trick. So in this corresponding fixture last season, Faris had already got a hat-trick by this point, so Hougang have improved on that. They did come back to get a 4-all draw in that game. Faris Ramli with a brace. Shafiq Ghani with 2 as well. Barry Maguire, he is the heartbeat of this Geylang International team today, even more so than normal. Gets it back to Faris Farhan. Darren Tay, he looks like he fancies a goal, Darren Tay, but he's going to have to improve his shooting if he wants to get one. That's just why, but they are standing off Hougang, and they're inviting Geylang to shoot. And remember what happened to Hougang in the reverse fixture at the start of the season back in March, when Van Heusen scored 2 relatively cheap goals from long range. Still goalless after half an hour between Balestier Khalsa and the Young Lions. Ridwan plays it out. Nice touch from Fahans Zulkifli, and now the referee, why did he not play advantage there? Charlie Michael's furious. Ichikawa go in the book, but how on earth they not played advantage? Hougang are furious. Clement Teo is absolutely incandescent on the touchline, as is Firdaus Kasim. Well, Ichikawa's in the book, but let's have a look at that again if we can. It's left Shawal Anwar absolutely poleaxed. The advantage looked all to be Hougang's because, of course, it was Ichikawa who committed the foul, the heartbeat of their defence. He was well out of position. Ichikawa pinged and Fahans Zulkifli was away. And both Firdaus and Clement Teo still in heated debate with the fourth official beneath me. Let's hope Shawal Anwar's okay, because Barry Maguire in deep conversation as well with Afiq Noor. Ichikawa becomes the first player into the book. So, what can they make with this set piece? Zach Anderson coming forward, and again it was from this area of the field that he scored that goal at Hougang against the Young Lions last week with a delightful back header. After a good ball in, it had been knocked back across the face. Shafiq Ghani's delivery is well in advance of where he intended, and Hyrule can gather. Well, no further updates on that news we had from downstairs that Ichikawa was carrying a knock. Certainly no sign of Iqbal Hussain being introduced early, as that's a good pocket pinch from Justin Hui, but Geylang recover well. Good hustle from Afiq Noor, sends it out for a throw. And you go through the head-to-head matchups between these two, it's always good. I think commentators' curse can be avoided if you bring it up early, not late. Just going through when the last time these two teams were involved in a goalless draw, you have to go back to 2015. A goalless draw between these two. More often than not, the games throw up goals. The last three matches have thrown up 15 goals between them. But are we heading for another goalless draw after 5 years? I don't think so. I think we'll see some action here. Barry Maguire. They've both got attacking flair, with the prospect of Iqbal Hussain to be introduced in the second half as well. Amy Recha knows where the goal is. And she get an update on the corner count. Oh, Darren Tay could beat again here. Darren Tay across the face. And Ridwan just gathers it and tries the quick release, which has backfired, because they've picked it up after good hustle from Adam Hakim. But it's just a little bit scrappy, isn't it? Both teams seeing their movement break down more easily than they'd like. Well, this is not good news for Justin Hui, his first start of the season. He's down in some discomfort, holding his back. This doesn't look like a play-acting incident. He does look in some serious distress here. And this is not what Clement Teo wants to see. He's got Fabian Kwok off the bench, of course, who would be an obvious replacement. Didn't do too much wrong. I think he might have even tweaked a muscle there as he tried to grab Adam Hakim as he ran past him. Barry Maguire and Charlie Michael in conversation. It's in some discomfort here. There is Firdaus Kasim passing on some instructions to Nazrul. Still goalless, incidentally, at Bisham. Balestier Khalsa nil, the Young Lions nil. So as it stands, the afternoon started with fourth playing fifth and sixth playing eighth. And if the Young Lions do hang on to that point, they will go above Tanjong Pagar United this evening and send the Jaguars to the bottom of the table. Jaguars, of course, have a game in hand which they play tomorrow against Tampines Rovers. Justin Hui's back up at his feet. Looks like he's going to be okay. Sportingly don't give it back to Geylang. How can they get on with it? But it was their throw, in fairness, before the referee stopped play. So there's nothing untoward that's happened there. Here's Harith Kanadi. Ichikawa. Umar Akbar. Zach Anderson. Referee not seeing anything wrong with that. They managed to get it back to Ridwan. He's almost playing as a centre forward, or certainly a number 10, Barry Maguire, today. He's getting so far forward, much further forward than we're used to seeing him. Is that Sharin on the deck? Holding his head there. I need the physio on once more. I think that's Sharin. In some discomfort after that accidental coming together with Zach Anderson, who's over there to check he's okay. And a couple of the Geylang players are taking this opportunity to go into conference with Noor Ali. Amongst them, Umar Akbar and Darren Tay. But it's great to see Darren Tay and Barry Maguire on those probing runs. They look like they're building up some understanding. And when you've got the ability to leave Yuki Ichikawa as your deepest lying player, it does give Darren Tay an opportunity to roam further forward that we've seen sometimes. He has occasionally been called into play at centre-back as that ball's put behind intentionally for a goal kick to Hougang to get us restarted. So no goals, just under 10 minutes to go in this first half. By the way, if you can hear the Hougang halls, they're not in the stadium, they're actually above the stadium in a jogging track that occupies the roof of OTH. And I have to give the Hougang halls credit, they're observing social distancing, so you can hear them cheering, but they're all actually very sensibly observing social distancing, so fair play to the halls. Saw some of the ultras of Geylang here as well, likewise, displaying social distancing. Barry Maguire, they're standing off him again. Barry Maguire gets the better of Zach Anderson, but can't thread it through to Darren Tay. Still Maguire, this time he plays Tay in, but that's good defensive work by Nazrul, who gets it clear. Well, Barry Maguire, how many invitations does he want to a goal-scoring party? They've invited him 3 or 4 times this half to take a shot from range, and he's declined the invitation on a couple of occasions and been wide once or twice as well. Nice one-touch movement from Firdous. Here's Adam Hakeem. Oh, Adam Hakeem went through on him here, and he's going to be in the book. Well, I don't think it was malicious. It was just Adam Hakeem being full-blooded. But when you go along the deck like that, particularly if there's any suggestion that the studs are raised, you're always going to get pinged for the foul, and there's a high possibility as well you go into the book. So we're now in a situation where 2 of Geylang's backline are on yellow cards. Back to the live action, Zach Anderson. Still goalless, Balestier Calset, Young Lions. Goalless here, Geylang Hougang. Maguire, again, he's hit the freedom in the midfield at the moment, Barry Maguire. That's an interesting teasing ball over the top. Lionel Tan gets ahead to it, and Harith Kanadi will let it go out for a throw. Firdous. Adam Hakeem. He's really grown as a player, Adam Hakeem, isn't he? Both physically and in terms of his work rate. There's confirmation of his yellow card. He's certainly physically imposing. Gets it back to Hyrule. That's going to bounce for Lionel Tan. Only succeeds in getting it to Firdous. Back to Hyrule. Ichikawa. That injury scare that was related to him appears to have been a false alarm from downstairs earlier. Barry Maguire. Now, Farhan Zulkifli, he's threatened to get rocking and rolling down the left-hand side on a couple of occasions in this first half. It hasn't quite happened for him yet, though. Charlie Michael, I have to say, in the battle of the import midfield maestros, Barry Maguire just edging Charlie Michael to this point. Here's Anders Aplin. I haven't seen much from Anders Aplin in this game. That's straight to Ichikawa, who belts it clear. Picked up by Afiq Noor. It's been scrappy, this, for the most part. Needs a moment of quality, I think, to open it up here. Could they get it now? Barry Maguire again being allowed to run forward, almost unopposed. They're giving Barry Maguire so much time and space. He finds support with Faris Farhan. It's another Faris Farhan goal against Hougang, not this time. But they are just literally standing back, allowing Barry Maguire to make 10, 15, 20 yards sometimes every time he's in possession with the ball at feet. Can't knock it so far because it's not like they're conceded from that tactic, but they can't keep doing that, surely, without being punished. It has thrown up Geylang's third corner of the game, 3 apiece on the corner count. And Geylang have looked threatening from their corners. The Faris Farhan delivery has been top draw. Ichikawa went close on one occasion. There's another injury here. We are going to be looking at, I think, 2 or 3 minutes time added on at the end of this first half. Is that Harith Kanadi over there? Do apologise, can't quite make it out from my vantage point. I think it might be Harith, hope he's okay. Well, it's going to give Hougang a chance to get organised to defend this set piece because they've lost their markers on a couple of occasions. Ichikawa and Barry Maguire have both had opportunities in the air from set pieces. And so far, Geylang International with 8 shots, 2 of them on target. Harith Kanadi is limping off. He doesn't look in a good spot here. I wonder if he's going to be able to continue. And can Norali afford to wait until half-time to find out if he can? He does look to be noticeably limping. They'll take this corner playing with 10. It'll be Faris Farhan to take it. All eyes on Barry Maguire and Yuki Ichikawa. Farhan's delivery, finds Maguire again! And they've given him too much space, one time too many. And that goal has been coming. Another wonderful corner from Faris. And Barry Maguire with his 2nd of the season. And his incredible work rate in this first 45 has been rewarded. You'd think he'd had COVID-19 the way they're standing off Barry Maguire. They're giving him far too much space. And they've finally been punished. There's an inquest going on in the Hougang backline as to how, once again, in almost an identical circumstance to the previous corner, he was given so much space. Charlie Michael and Zapin all asking questions. But with 3 minutes to go, Geylang have the lead that on balance they deserve. Geylang International 1, Hougang United 0. Zach Anderson. What's Hougang's response going to be here? I'd imagine Clement Teo is fuming. His options on the bench. And Imanthan Kumar. They've got that Kyrgyzstani defender, Maksad, as well. Fabian Kwok. I'd be surprised if Fabian Kwok wasn't brought in to try and take care of Barry Maguire in the second half. Because whatever the midfield game plan was, it is given Barry Maguire time and space. It's like they're frightened to tackle him. It's extraordinary watching him waltz through the middle time after time. And although the goal's not come from open play, that was the 2nd time he was left alone at a corner. Nasrul. Oh, nice flick on. Charlie Michael into the area, but he's offside. It would have not counted even if Justin Huyer got the touch there. Barry Maguire's goal, 2nd of the season, added to the one he got in the 3-2 defeat against Balestier. As we just get confirmation that he was offside, it's a very good call. Not really a close one either. Charlie Michael veering into an offside position. But of course, we've been here before. Remember, Geylang led 3-0 and 3-1 at half-time the last time they met here, and that game finished 4 apiece. So these games tend to throw up lots of twists and turns, but Hougang have to try and find something from somewhere. Look at the space they've got again here. Chance for 2, Harith Kanadi. I think that was the wrong option, and Faris Farhan is furious. I think Harith Kennedy was entitled to try and play in Faris Farhan there, who remembers looking for his 7th goal in 4 games against Hougang. The Cheetahs are in a bit of bother here. Zach Anderson. They just need to make sure the score's only 1-0 at half-time. Then they're still very much in this as a contest. He's under pressure here. He's under pressure here, Ridwan. Gets it to Zach Anderson. Now Charlie Michael's back helping out the defence. And they've given it up again. Harith Kennedy again can't find the pass. This time with Ferdous looking for it. Well, on the balance of what we've seen in these opening 45 minutes, Hougang are lucky to only trail by 1, and they could yet go in at half-time level. Anders Zaplin, can he find a ball through? Well met by Barry Maguire. They want the foul there for the challenge on Shawal Anwar. They're not going to get it. And once again, Clement Teo is in the 4th official and the assistant referee's ear. Shawal Anwar's on the deck. They can ill afford to lose him to injury. Maguire is going over to check if he's okay. Maguire and Michael, not sure that's as friendly as it might be. Charlie Michael and letting Barry Maguire knows what he thinks about that challenge. Maguire can see the funny side. He's got the goal that sees his team lead 1-0. Wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that challenge if we can. Wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that challenge that's left Shawal Anwar on the deck. What see the goal? Keep an eye on Barry Maguire there. Just loses his man. Well, was it Anders Zaplin? He's looking at 2 of his teammates. I think Anders Zaplin had to pick up another guy. It may well be Justin Hui or Nasrul. They're going to cop the blame for that one. Looks like Shawal Anwar's going to be okay. As we come into the final 90 seconds of the 3 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half. A first half that's been dominated by the Eagles, and they've got the goal to show for it. Over at the Bishan Stadium, the Young Lions lead it. Approaching half-time against Balestier Khalsa. Balestier Khalsa 0, the Young Lions 1. That would be a huge win for Coach Nasri's men if they can follow that one through. And it's Jacob Mahler. Marvellous to see Jacob Mahler in amongst the goals. Again, I haven't seen that one, but I wouldn't mind betting it's a similar goal to the one we've seen here with Jacob Mahler up from the back from a set piece. So we'll find out soon enough. Don't forget to keep checking back on the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels and One Play Sports as well for all the very latest AIA Singapore Premier League news. You get to see all the goals and the match highlights on the Singapore Premier League Facebook page very quickly after the conclusion of the day's action. But Young Lions leading Balestier Khalsa by a goal to 0 as that one approaches, like this one, half-time. Played through by Afiq Noor. He needs to have more of an impact on this game, Afiq Noor. Barry Maguire, Charlie Michael was sold a good bit of goods there from Barry Maguire, who's been the standout player for me through this first half. Darren Tay as well has been exceptional. And they've just been winning pretty much every midfield battle that they've been involved with as the rain continues to trickle down. It's a trickle rather than a storm. Let's hope we don't get the lightning warning system on again in the second half. But as we go up to half-time, just waiting for Janssen Foods, who probably had a couple of extra seconds on for that injury to Shawal Anwar. But he adds no more seconds on, and we go into the break with Geylang International deservedly in front. Barry Maguire, well, he has been allowed the freedom of the middle of our Tampines hub, and he's probed time after time. He went close early in the game, he went close from one corner and then scored with his second opportunity from a delightfully delivered set piece from Faris Farhan. His header perfectly positioned to beat Ridwan, and that's a difference between the two teams at the break. Barry Maguire's goal in the 41st minute sees Geylang International lead Hougang by 1-0. Welcome back to a rainy Tampines hub. Fingers crossed the lightning warning system stays off. I can tell you half-time here, Barry Maguire's 41st minute header from a fantastically delivered Faris Farhan corner is the difference between the two teams, but Geylang arguably should be further in front, and I wonder if that'll come back to haunt them, because Hougang can't be much worse than they were in the opening 45. There's the first free header he had from a corner that was straight at Ridwan. He had a couple of chances from open play as well. At the other end, the chances have been few and far between. That was good hustle from Justin Hui, but just beyond that cross, Shawal Anwar. But Hougang chances have been thin on the ground. They've not registered a shot on target through the opening 45 minutes, and that was the brilliantly positioned header from Maguire as he lost his marker for the umpteenth time. I tell you something, when you look back at the highlights of this game, if you're just joining us, how much time and space Barry Maguire's been given is absolutely incredible. So the halls you can see there outside the stadium if you're watching internationally. Fans not allowed inside the stadium, but credit to the halls, although I don't agree with some of the language they use from time to time. They are practicing social distancing, watching the game up there, and they're getting wet for their cause as well. That's passion for you. There are the match stats. We'll look at that. That tells you all you need to know, doesn't it? 12 shots for Geylang. On my notes, I had Hougang down as 2 shots, but bearing in mind they were both off target. I think one of them was so far off target. Our friends at Genius probably understandably didn't register it. 3 corners apiece, 2 yellow cards, both to Geylang, and that could still come into play because Adam Hakim and Yuki Ichikawa are the 2 players in the book, 2 defenders. So, at the other game at Bishan, I can tell you, Jacob Marler opened the scoring just before half-time in that one, right on half-time from a penalty. He's got to be the Young Lions' leading goal scorer now, hasn't he? It's another penalty converted by Jacob Marler. Keep an eye on that guy. He is one for the future, the Young Lions youngster, and that would be a huge win for them if they can come out on top against Marko Kravic's Balestier Khalsa. And what that all does to the league table as it stands, as we get another chance to see Barry Maguire's goal, is as it stands tonight, the Young Lions will leapfrog Tanjong Bagara and move up to 7th. As we get another couple of glimpses of that great goal. And in the top half of the table, Geylang International, if they go on and win here and Balestier Khalsa are beaten by the Young Lions, they'll have a 4-point buffer with 4 games to play when it comes to the AFC Cup places. So it's a very big second 45 minutes, both here and at Bishan this Saturday night. You're watching live AIA Singapore Premier League football on Singtel, Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, One Play Sports as well. Stay with us wherever you're watching around the world. We'll be back with the second half in just a couple of moments. Geylang International leading Hougang 1-0 at the break. Welcome back live to our Tampines hub. As you can see, it's raining and it's starting to get a little heavier. Thankfully, no sign of the lightning warning system yet. And Geylang International will be hoping it stays off, because the last thing they want is a delay in this one. They're well on top, albeit only by a 1-0. Barry Maguire, who'd been the standout player in that first 45 minutes, gets the goal. His work rate and inventiveness deserved. He'd got the better of Zach Anderson and Charlie Michael on a couple of occasions, created space. They all at times just appeared afraid to go anywhere near him, and subsequently, at least half a dozen times, he took the ball from just inside Hougang territory to the edge of the area, and they finally paid the price as they left him free of his marker for a second consecutive corner. And Faris Farhan, whose delivery from those set pieces has been immaculate, put it on Maguire's head, and he guided his header past Ridwan. If you're just joining us, Young Lions leading Balestier Kausa by a 1-0. Jacob Marler, there's the substitute contingent from Hougang warming up. I'd be very surprised if Clement Teo didn't make a change at half-time. I'm trying to see, Fabian Kwok is out there with the subs at half-time, so I'd imagine all 6 of the outfield players are out there, so it doesn't look like a change is coming at half-time, but I'm sure there are some choice words being said as the rain continues to get heavier. And bearing in mind Ichikawa and Adam Akima on yellows, that could be a factor as well. It's strange, isn't it? Wonderful camera work from our production team, because it looks so heavy there. From where I'm sat inside the stadium in the top echelon, it is not looking that heavy, but that just goes to show how much rain is falling on this surface. It is, of course, a top-class international artificial surface here at our Tampines sub, so the pitch won't cut up, but it will be slippy. I'm just getting word from downstairs. There's going to be a substitution at half-time, but it's not coming from Hougang as far as we know. The only change we've got confirmed is that Noor Lukman, who had quite a quiet half by his usual high standards. It was the Barry Maguire show, that first 45. Wonder if he's carrying a knock. He's going to be replaced by Amy Recha. Great to have Amy back on duty. So Amy will be on in a moment as we wait for the players to re-emerge. Let's remind you the game's coming up tomorrow as well, because there's 2 huge games tomorrow. These games that we're enjoying today are more about the bottom half and AFC Cup places, if you want to be blunt about it. But tomorrow's matches are all about the battle for the title. 2 absolute blockbusters for you, including arguably the game of the season so far, which will take place at Bishan, and it's been raining there as well, so I wonder what the playing surface will be like tomorrow when the Lion City Sailors entertain Alborex. Those teams, of course, currently 3rd and 1st, respectively. And Tampines Rovers, who've got back to a winning thread recently against the Young Lions after a disappointing spell of 2 consecutive draws. They visit the side that's now rock bottom of the table, if the Young Lions can hang on to get something out of their game today at Balestier, Tanjong Pagar United. So Amy is a change that we've had confirmed. Don't think we're getting anything from Hougang. The way that midfield battle's going, though, I'd be very surprised if Fabian Kwok doesn't appear at some point. Seems to be quite a long half-time break as well, just to confirm. I'm looking out there. Obviously, the substitutes are out warming up, so there's no question that the lightning warning system has come on. And we were under a lightning warning system from about 3:30 to 4:30 local time as our officials come back out, led by Jansen Fu, Abdul Hanan and Alson Fu assisting him. Yeah, and we just about got the warning system off before the cut-off, or when we'd have to start delaying the start. So fortunately we were able to start on time, but we'll monitor that situation. We don't want to see the lightning warning system come on here. It is quite a wet period for us here in Singapore. And at the moment, it's a bit of a dark and gloomy period for Hougang. It's not a 45 minutes they want to remember. They've put in some fantastic displays this season, but as Travis Tan, when he was speaking with Firdaus Qasim, said earlier, they've just been so unpredictable. They played out of their skins to beat Tampines Rovers here post-COVID by 2-1. They raced into an early 2-0 lead in that one and hang on well in the second half. But they've got to make something happen. And they'll have to keep Faris Farhan quiet as well. He's looking to extend that incredible goal-scoring run against Hougang, having scored in his last 5 against them, looking to make it 6 on the spin. So I look down, and a confirmation, just as you can see, the 4th official holding that board up, that Amy is on for Noor Luckman. And there is a Hougang change. Yes, I thought there had to be, really. And it's Anumanthan Kumar. So Anumanthan Kumar is on. I must confess, I didn't catch a glimpse, rather, of who he replaced. I'll confirm that for you in just a moment. So Anumanthan on for Hougang. Is he going to be the tactical alteration to turn this game around? Well, they look pumped up for this second half. To Geylang. It'll be very interesting to see if Anumanthan Kumar plays well here, because he has been linked during the week with a move to Penang in Malaysia. So he's going to be playing to impress. It's flicked on by Charlie Michael. But who else but Barry Maguire picks up the pieces in the middle of the park. And again, there's no one near him. And he's allowed to play a ball through to Ami, who's up against Zach Anderson, who wins that battle and gets it back to Ridwan. Just to confirm, they are back underway as well at Bisham. Ballastin 0, Young Lions 1, the latest score there. Well, that was a risky challenge that came in from Darren Tay. Crossed in by Shafiq Ghani. There could be a chance here. Oh, he's fluffed his lines badly there. Shawal Anwar, but not as badly as Charlie Michael, who with a goal in his mercy has somehow missed the target. Well, let's look at the replay here and see if Harith Kanani deserves any defensive hustle credit for presenting Hougang a real opportunity here, Geylang. Harith Kanani couldn't get there before Shawal Anwar. Then it dropped to Charlie Michael, and that has to go down as a top save from Hyrule. Really, they both should have scored, Shawal Anwar and Charlie Michael. But this is better from Hougang. And that header flicked wide from Shawal Anwar, but they'll pick it up. It won't go out of play, and there's plenty of blue shirts to try and get on the end of this. Zach Anderson was one of them. Charlie Michael's another. But the flag is up for offside on Charlie Michael. Thought for a minute Zach Anderson was going to get his second goal in Hougang colours. Well, they obviously have been asked for a response from Clement Teo at half-time. And they're starting to give one here, Hougang. And the age-old football conundrum applies here. Geylang will need a second goal in this game, you fancy. Neither team have been very good at keeping clean sheets this season. The only teams that have failed to score against Geylang this campaign are the bottom 2 clubs, the Young Lions and Tanjung Pagar. Hougang with just their 1 clean sheet all campaign, and that actually came in a goalless draw against Tanjung Pagar. So every team in the division, apart from the club who are bottom, have managed to score against Hougang this season, and everyone outside the bottom 2 have managed to score against Geylang. There's a free kick for a foul on Harith Kanadi as the rain continues to tumble down here. And that save, great save from Hyrule, was Hougaang's first shot on target in the game. I thought initially it had been skewed wide, or it had taken a deflection off Harith Kanadi, but all the credit has to go to Hyrule for that save. Barry Maguire hustling again. No nonsense, belt clear, but straight to a green shirt. Afiq Noor picks up the pieces. That's handball. Frustration there for Faris Farhan, because I don't think he knew much about it. The distribution's been diabolical from Hougang. They've passed the ball to a green shirt more often than they've passed it to a blue one in the midfield battle so far today. But they started at least a bit brighter in this second half with a bit of passion, a bit of belief, a bit of determination to try and get back in this race for the AFC Cup places. They're down the left-hand side now. Twisting, turning. Farhan Zulkifli managed to punch one away, but it's wide of the mark. And if they can limit them to opportunities like that, they'll be happy. Now, Adam Hakeem is down in some discomfort here, holding his back. Again, look rather innocuous. It's not been a dirty game by any stretch, this. But he's going to need the physio. Well, if it stays like this in terms of the results, and there's a lot of football to be played, of course, 38 minutes at Bishan and 40 minutes here. If these results stay the same, it's going to, not conclusively, but almost split the league in two, because there'll be 4 points between first and fourth, Albirex, Tampines, Lion City Sailors and Geylang. And there'll be 4 points back to Hougang, which is a lot of ground to make up with just 4 games to play. And we talked about their remaining fixtures here. Hougang do have the advantage of their final 4 games all being at home. There's 3 away games and a home game against the Lion City Sailors to conclude Geylang's programme. So Hougang really need to get something from this if they want to get to AFC competition for the 2nd consecutive year, you fancy. Maguire got there before Afiq Noor, but his pass arrives at the feet of Nazrul, who releases Farhan Zulkifli. He seems to have a bit more space over on the left-hand side in the second half. Farhan Zulkifli gets the better of Darren Tate, needs support. Fine support, and they just about keep it in. Now they get it back to Anumanthan, who delivers one high into the area. The acrobatic attempt from Shawal Anwar is wide of the mark. Just looking down there to see if the flag was up. I don't think it was. That would have been something special. But maybe Anumanthan's delivery will be a feature of Hougang's improved showing in this second stanza. Of course, on the bench for Geylang, they've still got Iqbal Hussain to call upon should they desire a goal. He's already scored twice this season. Putting his foot through that is Hyrule. He's going to land on the head of Zach Anderson, who is a free header, but only manages to send it to Umar Akbar. Conditions not ideal, it must be said. I'm not sure if it's coming through to you at home. Obviously, the surface is artificial, but raining quite heavily. It's going to be difficult for footing. It's going to be a slippy surface, and judging the trajectory of the ball might not be as straightforward as it sometimes is. Shawal Anwar. Afiq Noor over the top. Charlie Michael nearly got there. Shawal Anwar nearly got there, and Adam Hakeem can tidy it up. Of course, the problem Hougang have got is they commit more numbers forward in the second half to get an equaliser. They always run the risk of being caught out themselves at the back. Hanimanthan. Does seem to have been some tactical adjustment from Clement Teo in the second half. Oh, Hanimanthan's given that one away, and all of a sudden Geylang are 3-on-2, driving forward, and a very weak effort on goal from Umar Akbar, but he had options as well. I don't think Faris Farhan was best impressed with that shot selection there. Lionel Tan played on nicely to Afiq Noor. This is better from Hougang. Shawal Anwar's offside though. Back to Hyrule. Adam Hakeem, impressed in the first half. He's not impressed there, though. That's a bit of handball, I think, there against Farhan Zulkifli. Similar situation, very accidental and unfortunate, but again, the correct decision from Jansen Fu, just as he gave handball against Faris Farhan moments ago. Ferdows needs an option here. Ends up getting it to Adam Hakeem. Balestier Khalsa have equalised at Bishan. Balestier Khalsa won, the Young Lions won. And that makes the 3 points even more important for both teams here. As Balestier Khalsa are back on level terms early in the second half at Bishan. Here still 1-0 to Geylang. You get the feeling the second goal in this game is going to be the important one. Umar Akbar gets it out wide with a nice pass. Finds Harith Kanadi. He gets it back to Adam Hakim. Well, they're not showing the same attacking intent and desire for me, Geylang, in the opening 10 minutes of this second half. Yes, they've got to be mindful that Hougang are going to try and come at them to try and get the equaliser, but they were enjoying so much success coming forward. Just out of your camera shot, I can see Amy is very frustrated that they're not getting the ball to the front players quicker. This might be something for East Farhan to chase down, and he's managed to almost force the mistake from Lionel Tan, who's still got work to do here. Chip clear by Ridwan, and Azaplin won't be able to keep that one in play. So again, another change to the league table. Only 4 games to go for the 4 sides in action today after they've played out the Saturday action. Young Lions now with a point would still go above Tanjung Pagar United. Balestier Khalsa with a point would go above Hougang. Remember, Hougang started the afternoon in front of Balestier Khalsa in 5th, but defeat here could see them drop to 6th. And Amanthan, some space to run into. Gets it to Charlie Michael. Now Charlie Michael, he's being given some freedom to run through the middle. And he plays it out to Shafiq Ghani. Tries to get it back to Charlie Michael, who just couldn't get the touch. But whatever Clement Teo said at half-time to Hougang, they've certainly put in an improved opening 10 minutes in contrast to their first 45 of the first half. The opening 10 minutes of the second half have been much, much better. Outside of the foot from Shafiq Ghani, Charlie Michael just couldn't get there. Yeah, players waiting over on that far side as well. I think Afik Noor was there. Player is down inside the Hougang half of the field. Not entirely sure if it's Harith Kanadi. I think it might be Harith Kanadi again, is it? He's been down a couple of times injured. Who's that? Just out of a camera shot there. There we have it. Yeah, he's been in the wars. That's not Harith Kanadi, that's Ferdow. So a couple of these Geylang players. Be interested to see how their fitness lasts out in these conditions, as while he's off the field of play, that ball is floated in and grabbed out the air by Hyrule, who's made one very important save so far. Farhan Zulkifli trying to put Hyrule under some pressure. He sends it long, and again, Geylang are being nowhere near as ambitious coming forward as they were in the first half. And if they think they can shut Hougang out for the second 45 rather than me, particularly if Hougang put in an improved performance in this second half. Anders Applet, Barry Maguire. Barry Maguire somehow manages to find it to Ferdas, whose eye's okay after that application of water. Good tackle from Afik Noor. Gets the ball away from Harith Kanadi. Just waiting confirmation of the goal scorer at Bishan that's levelled it up with half an hour to play there, just over half an hour to play here. Amy unable to get the better of Van der Zappelen, but he does win a throw. Taken by Kanadi. Headed on by Faris Farhan, and it will be a corner. Fuming about that decision is Lionel Tan, absolutely furious. The replay will be interesting here, because the way Lionel Tan's reacting, the way they're all reacting, would suggest they thought it was a cast iron goal kick. Matters not, no, the referee's made his decision. And remember what happened the last time Geylang International had a corner. Barry Maguire was left completely unmarked and headed home. And one thing you can be guaranteed of with Faris Farhan is a quality delivery. He's been foot perfect on that front so far. And once more, the delivery is good, and it's an important header from Zach Anderson to get it away from trouble. I can tell you. Bishan. Back flick, what a score! Just as I'm updating you about a goal at Bishan, Amy Recker, the half-time substitute, has given Hougang a mountain to climb. They failed to clear away the danger from the second phase from the corner, and Hougang pay the ultimate price. Amy with a really cute finish with the back heel. That's one for the highlights of the week. And Amy Recker's first goal of the season. And as Zaplin again is incandescent with rage in the defending. And Amy Recker doubles the lead. Well, just when I was criticising Geylang for not being as forward-thinking, attacking-wise as they were in the first half, because it really looked like they could have put the game to bed in the first 45 minutes. They've soaked up the first bit of pressure that Hougang have thrown at them in the second half, and then in their first set-piece opportunity have doubled the advantage. And yes, just going back to update you on what's happening at Bishan, because of course the nature of this intense season is that results everywhere affect everything now. It's Aravin that's got the equaliser for Balestier Khalsa to level things up there. But more news from Bishan. Balestier Khalsa are now down to 10 men. There's been a red card in that game. So Balestier Khalsa equalised, but are now down to 10 men. Meanwhile, back here, oh, there's a coming together that's going to go against Amy in that coming together with Anders Zaplin. Amy and Lionel Tan sportingly getting Anders back to his feet. I think it's purely accidental, but Anders Zaplin just caught by Amy on the back lift of that attempt to clear. Lionel Tan, well, they need a goal now, don't they, Hougang? And they need it quickly. Again, any mention of this fixture has to refer back to that incredible 4-4 draw the last time these two teams met here in the middle of September 2019. They scored 2 goals in the final 15 minutes of that one to secure a 4-4 draw, Hougang, as Ichikawa has to be careful. He's on a yellow card. In complete control here. The last thing they want to do is give Hougang an easy option back into the game. Anu Manthan gets it out to Shawalamwa, the former Eagle. Anders Zaplin. This is about as further forward as I've seen Anders Zaplin in this game so far this afternoon. He will come up winning a throw. Five shots on target for Geylang, just one for Hougang, of course. That fantastic save that Charlie Michael forced out of Hyrule early in the second half. But Geylang clearly having the better of it. Harris Kanadi. Adam Hakeem. Well, at 1-0, even in control, it was precarious. 2-0, arguably they're in less control of the game, but with a buffer now. And if they get the third goal, it's all over. And they're in behind here, and the flag stays down. Lovely work, Darren Tay, from a very narrow angle. Can't get it on target, and it's behind for a goal kick. Well, Darren Tay, like Barry Maguire, his industry that he's shown today probably deserves a goal. He really has been impressive. Did well to get in behind Nazrul, and Amy, I think, a little bit frustrated there in the middle that he didn't try to square it. Zach Anderson takes it short. Ridwan obviously doesn't fancy dead ball goal kicks. Anders Zaplin. Anu Manthan. Well met by Adam Hakeem's head. Adam Hakeem under pressure from Shawalamwa, who gives him a little nudge. And the frustration might start to set in now to Hougang. What does Clement Teo do from the bench now? He's introduced Anu Manthan. He's got Nikesh Singh as an option, Fabian Kwok as an option. Still obviously to be introduced for Geylang, Iqbal Hussain if they require him, but squad management's an issue here as all of a sudden Farhan Zulkifli comes up with a steal against Ichikawa. Farhan Zulkifli, well gathered by Hyrule, and the second shot on target comes to nothing. And more frustration shown from Charlie Michael. Fadli Kamis is the man shown the red card at Bisham. Balestier Kelso 1, Young Lions 1. Aravin equalising after Jacob Marler had given the Lions the lead in the first half, right on half-time. Aravin's goal just before the hour mark, and now Fadli Kamis seeing red. Balestier Kelso will play the remainder of that one with 10 men. But Young Lions fans will know they played against Hougang when the Cheetahs were down to 10 men, when the score was 1-1, and they ended up losing that game by 4 goals to 1, so take nothing for granted there. But I have to say, I think Nasri's done a great job with the Young Lions, certainly signs of improvement. The debate about whether they should be in the division or not will go on. People will have their opinions, but there's been some really impressive talents on display for the Young Lions this season. Jacob Marler heading that list. And great to see Orhan Fandi back after his latest stint in national service as Faris Farhan. One fancy touch too many. Both goals, the first one directly from a set piece, the second one indirectly from a set piece that Geylang have scored today. To the final 25 minutes to go, we're not too far off. The second half hydration break as Charlie Michael does enough to dispossess Geylang. Anders Aplin, Michael, and Imanthan. Charlie Michael has got Afik Noor ahead of him if he can find him. Instead goes out wide to this left-hand side where they'll try and get it to Afik Noor now. Farhan Zulkifli on the run, but Geylang pick it up. That's a heavy touch. Charlie Michael will concede the free kick, and just for a minute there, thought it might get a little bit nasty between Charlie Michael and Shahrin, but luckily all is okay. And the man that won the free kick will take the free kick. Shahrin. Headed away by Zach Anderson. And now Farhan Zulkifli meets a brick wall of Shahrin, and this time concedes the free kick. And surely now they've just got to throw the big men forward and try and land this on the head of Zach Anderson or Lionel Tan, who are both going up for this. They've taken it quickly. Cross comes in. Ichikawa misses it. Barry Maguire, not sure he knew too much about it, but ends up dribbling off his chest and going into the safe hands of Hyrule. Change is on the way. Farhan Zulkifli is going to be replaced by Hafiz. He's huffed and he's puffed, Farhan Zulkifli. But it's now Hafiz's turn to try and have a go to see if he's going to slot in on that left-hand side. Over the top, looking for the run of Shawal Anwar. And what's the decision here? Goal kick. Shawal Anwar demonstrating that he wants a corner out of it. As I look down below, just trying to work out where Hafiz is going to plonk himself. The substitute does look like he's going to occupy a position over on the left, maybe a little bit more central than Farhan Zulkifli's position previously. Confirmation Farhan Zulkifli replaced by Hafiz. And Zaplin. Oh, look at that for a bit of skill to pay the bill from Shawal Anwar. And he's away at the races now. Charlie Michael forward. Can they find him? Shafiq got it! Oh, whistle past the post. That could have been game back on at OTH, but just wide. Well, this game would be a very different story, notwithstanding that Geylang got their second goal in the second half. If they hadn't allowed Barry Maguire the freedom of Tampines in the first half, this would be a very different scenario, this game. They've almost handicapped themselves here, Hougang. But again, they'll know deep down there are plenty of members of this squad that were part of that 4-4 game last September. They know on that occasion they scored twice in the final 15 minutes to come away with a 4-4 draw, so it can be done. There will be belief with Hougang they can get something out of this. Not, though, if they concede a third, I'm sure. Over the top from Harith Kanadi, looking for Amy. Comes back to Harith Kanadi. He's got options over on that right-hand side where Darren Tay is desperate to get a goal. I can see it in his eyes. Barry Maguire wins the throw. Should win the throw. That came off Afignor, surely. Well, we'll find out in a moment, because just to build up the suspense as to who that throw went to, we're now taking the hydration break, where Geylang doubled their advantage. They went into the break 1-0 in front, and a lovely back heel, a cheeky back heel from Amy after Hougang failed to clear a second phase play from a corner, and has given the Eagles a bit of breathing space against Hougang. And as it stands, unless Balestier can find a winner playing with 10 men at Bishan, Geylang after tonight will have a 3-point break on the teams chasing them for what at the moment is the second AFC Cup place. And if you want to be really bold, ambitious and try and sex things up, should also point out that Geylang will only be 4 points off the league leaders, albeit the 3 teams above them have played a game less. They'll play their game in hand tomorrow. Great reaction from Amy, really good instinctive play, and as Aplin fuming, you can understand why, because the defending from set pieces in particular has been far from foot perfect, or head perfect for that matter, from Hougang at OTH this afternoon. 20 minutes to play. Yes, a reminder, Balestier Kausa down to 10 men in that game at Bishan, having levelled it up. Fadli Kamis seeing red after Jacob Mahler had put Balestier Kausa in front for the penalty spot on half-time. Aravin equalising just before the hour mark for the Tigers. Here, the Eagles are soaring against the Cheetahs, and a third goal would stick a fork in this one. Kanadi with the throw. Geylang not in too much of a rush to do anything at the moment, but they found Ferdhouse through the middle. Ferdhouse trying to get it through to Faris Farhan. Spin of the ball very nearly helped Shafiq Ghani there, but Justin Hui works it away well. Inside from Lionel Tam, but there's no runner there. Shawal Anwar finds Zach Anderson. They've got to find a goal from somewhere in the next couple of minutes, you fancy Hougang. Then we'll have a grandstand finish here at OTH. Can Charlie Michael get his third in 3? Not this time. But at least they're coming up with attempts on goal. Shot count now 13-8 in Geylang's favour, but they're even Stevens on that score in the second half. Referee's asking for the stretcher while we look back at that effort from Charlie Michael. Is that Shawal Anwar over there on the far side on the deck? I think it may be. So the stretcher's out, and it doesn't look promising, does it? Underneath, I'm just waiting to see if anyone from Geylang is stripped and ready to come on. Obviously, Iqbal Hussain is the obvious one if he can't continue. And Shawal... Apologies, Faris Farhan, getting my 10s bundle up. So used to seeing Shawal Anwar play for Geylang in years gone by. I do apologise. Faris Farhan is going to be out here. And indeed, Iqbal Hussain is coming on. So that's a worry, a big worry, that Faris Farhan's had to come off. He won't be extending his scoring run against Hougang to 6 straight games. Iqbal Hussain will be coming on looking to score his third of the season. Well, it's encouraging that Faris Farhan is able to walk around the pitch under his own steam, but with the games coming thick and fast, and Geylang in action on Wednesday against the Lion City Sailors, they'll want him here for that one. Yeah, of course, these two teams, me getting in a muddle with expecting to see Shawalanmar in green and white. Both teams have a couple of members of the squad that have played for each other. Bounce between OTH and the Hougang Stadium. And Imanthan, interesting to see, was linked with that move to Penang. See the Singapore season concluding in a couple of weeks, so plenty of the other transfer markets around the region are busy. It's been great to see Irfan Fandi doing so well in Thailand. Managed to see Zulfaimi start for Suphanburi last night as well in their game against Port. Unfortunately, he didn't last the first 45 minutes. He was taken off, and still unclear whether that was injury or tactical, but Iswan Mabud at Samut Prakan City. Obviously, Haris Harun is established himself as one of the stars of the JDT show over recent years. So Singapore talents, wonder if any of them will be in demand when the transfer business gets going, as this is delivered in by Amy, headed away by Zach Anderson, who got in a bit of a muddle with Ridwan there, and as a consequence, it comes back to Nazrul, who loses possession but is fouled in the process. Yeah, it's good to see Iqbal on the field. He's another one of those players that was previously at the club that he opposes today, at a season at Hougang before joining Geylang in the close season. Barry Maguire's chested it down, manages to keep the ball in play. Will look for support. He'll find it with Harith Kanadi. Nice touch from Harith Kanadi. Looks for the option now, and Zach Anderson read that well. Trying to move it quickly. Charlie Michael gets it back to Shafiq Ghani. Only one man up top, though, and they're trying to find Shawalanmar and not succeeding for the most part. Putting some pressure on Adam Hakim, though, now. Charlie Michael, as Barry Maguire, doesn't keep that in. Change for Hougang as Fabian Kwok is finally introduced. 40 minutes to turn this game round as he comes on for Afik Noor. That's up there. Is Shawalanmar trying to attack it? Oh, Adam Hakim missed that header, and it's come to Shafiq Ghani. Zach Anderson in a hurry to take that, had to wait for the ball to stop moving. Shawalanmar forced to drop deep, and a Zaplin. Cross comes in from Hafiz, headed away by Ichikawa. Sharin. With the chest down, thought for a minute Animanthan was going to be able to get there, but it's come to Harith Kanadi. Another nice touch from the Geylang flyer. Still Harith Kanadi. He's got Barry Maguire for cover. He goes for goal, and I tell you something, Ridwan only just gathered it. It was a decent save, and it was in these conditions every goalkeeper's nightmare when it bounces in front of you like that. Fabian Kwok's first touch finds a blue shirt. Charlie Michael brings in Animanthan. Hougang have played much better in this second half, but they still trail by 2. Hafiz was the target. It's headed away. And Sharin helps belt it clear for Geylang. And now, of course, with these games coming so thick and fast, I have no doubt there's going to be several injury, stroke, cramp stoppages throughout the course of the next 12 or so minutes. Still 1-1 between Balestier Khalsa and the Young Lions. Can the Young Lions come up with what would be just their second win of the season after that 2-1 win against Tanjung Pagar United earlier on in the campaign? Harith Kanadi, this effort again, just bounced in front of the keeper, and that's where it's very easy to get caught out even on an artificial surface, when the rain has been falling as heavily as it is, the ball can always take an awkward skid along the ground. Noor Ali will be very pleased how his team have dealt with this Hougang threat to this point. Hougang just weren't with us really in the first 45 minutes, and ultimately they've been undone from set pieces. You could argue that back heel from Amy came from the second phase of a set piece, but it was the inability to clear the set piece that allowed the second phase to materialise. Geylang will believe they probably should have scored a couple from open play as well in that first half, with Barry Maguire and Harith Kennedy being presented with opportunities. Darren Tay as well had a great chance in the first half, but fluffed his lines. Barry Maguire up against Animanthan, and it's a Geylang throw. Maguire and Animanthan having a laugh and a joke with each other. Hope it's all pleasant. It's still ongoing, by the way. Save it for later, guys. Go for a coffee or something after the match. Barry Maguire behind. Still talking to each other, those two. Entirely sure it's all friendly, even though they're both wearing smiles. Hougang with the throw. And Zaplin, who's looked frustrated for the most part tonight. Zach Anderson back to Ridwan, and he'll be under pressure here, Ridwan, from Amy. Has to get it back to Anderson, and he's now under pressure from Iqbal Hussain. They're not going anywhere very quickly at the moment here, Hougang, and again, they cough up possession far too easily to Firdhouse. Played on by Umar Akbar. Firdhouse, nice touch. Umar. Oh, Umar's just given a nudge from Anders Zaplin there, and that's going to be a free kick. No further yellow cards to add to the 2 yellows shown, both to Geylang in the first half. Adam Hakim and Yuki Ichikawa. Big result this for Geylang in the context of the AFC Cup race. Possession 9/10 of the law. They'll have a 3-point break on the field as long as it stays at least a 3-point break. If the Young Lions can get a win against Balestier in the remaining minutes there, they'll have a 4-point break on the field from 5th below as they chase a top 4 slot that will all but certainly guarantee them AFC Cup football next season. Barry Maguire. Loses out, and Imanthan, who's given them a bit more steel, isn't he, since he's been introduced, but he's given the ball away there. Firdhouse! Straight at Ridwan. Met by Adam Hakim's head. Fabian Kwok. Played back by Nazrul. Zach Anderson. And Imanthan. Header was by Sharin, and now Fabian Kwok will concede the free kick. And as the seconds tick away, the clock is now very much the enemy of Hougang, and they haven't shown enough in 82 minutes to show they're capable of getting 2 goals inside 8 minutes. That miraculous comeback to secure a 4-all draw from 4-2 down in September seems a lifetime ago now. 2 goals in final 15 minutes of that one saved the point for them. Should also point out the game prior to that one, which was back in July of that year, was a 2-all draw, where again Hougang came from behind to get something, as Firdhouse is in the book for a foul on Shawal Anwar. Yeah, so they've shown plenty of hustle, fight and determination to come back from precarious positions before here against Hougang. But it's going to take something special here. In fact, if you had to suggest there was a team more likely of getting the 3rd goal in this game, I'd still think it would be Geylang. That's a misplaced pass that's picked up very well indeed by Umar Akbar. He's had a good game, as is that man Barry Maguire. He loses his touch there, though. And as Zaplin picks up the pieces over the top, looking for Shafiq Ghani. Confirmation of Firdhouse is yellow, and it's come to Shawal Anwar. Nice turn, Shawal Anwar. Deflected off of Sharon, who stood his ground well, and it's back in the safe hands of Hyrule. The Young Lions now lead at Balestier Khalsa. They're now 3.5 minutes away from just their second win of the season. 10-man Balestier Khalsa trail the Young Lions by 2-1 at Bishan, and that's a big result for Geylang, because if it stays like that there and stays like this here, it'll be a 4-point buffer that Geylang enjoy over the 4 teams below them as they occupy 4th place in AFC Cup football for next season. Charlie Michael releases it with a little bit too much pace on for Hafiz. They don't look like they believe here, Hougang, do they, that they can get 2 goals. They had a bright spell, ironically, just before they conceded the second goal at the start of the second half. Charlie Michael had an opportunity, but it's the first half performance that's ultimately cost them here, and the confidence and belief that they can get something from this game appears to have drained out of them. Zach Anderson to Manthan. Lionel Tan now. Being marshalled by Amy. Fabian Kwok. And Zaplin coming up forward, needs to pick a perfect pass here. And he very nearly does just that. Comes up and over the touch of Nazrul. If Geylang can break quickly off this attacking foray from Hougang, they're going to be very short on numbers at the back. Hougang, how quickly are they going to get this one clear? Well, they're happy just to belt it into touch, and with 4.5 to play and 2 goals up, who can blame them? Ryan Stewart is the match winner as things stand at Bishan for the Young Lions. And as things stand, with that goal there going in, Hougang will stay 5th if Balestier lose that game by virtue of Hougang's better goal difference. They've got a 4-goal better goal difference than Balestier Khalsa. So the only change in the league table, there's going to be a foul on the edge of the area, is it? No, the referee plays on, and Ichikawa, furious, the Hougang Hools up in the gods about that decision, but their boys in blue get it back for the man, Zaplin. And now Geylang managed to clear only as far as Lionel Tan. You know, the only change in positions after these 2 games, if the scoreline stays the same, and the Young Lions will leapfrog Tanjung Pagar and go off the bottom of the table tonight. Chance now, Shafiq Ghani through the middle. My word, that was a confident flying tackle from Adam Hakim. If that had gone wrong, it would have been 2nd yellow card off and a penalty. We've had some injuries in this second half, plus the hydration break, so I think we're probably looking at 3 or 4 minutes, maybe even 5 of added time, as Hougang are penalised. There's an element here where you think they're just going through the motions in these final moments as the rain continues to tumble on the east coast of Singapore, here at OTH, our Tampines hub. The ground that Geylang share with Tampines Rovers, who you can watch with us in action live tomorrow at Jurong East Stadium as they visit the now bottom club, Tanjung Pagar United, as things stand. The other game tomorrow is a blockbuster, 1st against 3rd. The 3rd place Lion City Sailors welcoming Alborex to Bishan. I wonder how that pitch is shaping up after all the football that's been played on it, including that Balestier game today. Ground staff have been doing a wonderful job at Bishan, and all the admiration for them in the world as they try and keep that pitch together through to our conclusion on the 5th of December. You can watch those 2 games tomorrow like you watch these ones today, live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, One Play Sports, and our associated partners across the world. Here's Anders Zaplin. Hafiz not had a chance to really impress much since he was introduced. Fabian Kwok. Headed away by Sharid. Darren Tay, been really impressed with him today. Done so much work up and down that right-hand side for Geylang. Came close to getting his first goal of the season as well in the first half. Hafiz, decent cross. might just come out here to Nasrul. Barry Maguire beats it to him, beats him to it, and then shows good awareness to win the free kick. They're deep into added time at Bishan, where the Young Lions are just over 2 minutes away. They're into the almost into the third minute, 4 to be added on there. Be a big win for the Young Lions. Coach Nasri, Jacob Marler and Ryan Stewart with the goals there for the Young Lions. Palestine down to 10. Here's Amy. He's got Barry Maguire here in support, and this is where maybe Geylang could add insult to injury. If they've got any ambition to get a third, that is. Amy, well watched and well marshalled by Lionel Tan. Barry Maguire gets ahead on that, so that'll be a throw to Hougang. We will have 4 added minutes here. 4. Shawalanwa, there was a tug of his shirt there by Ichikawa, not called by the referee. Shawalanwa again, he's bundled over by Umar Akbar. It's been a disappointing game against his former club for Shawalanwa. He won't be pleased with how things have gone today, that's an understatement. Nasrul. Shawalanwa losing out, and that's a nice touch by Akbar. And all of a sudden, Iqbal Hussain is now managed to get the ball to the left-hand side, and Barry Maguire. Now, how much ambition is there in Geylang to get a third? Barry Maguire up against Lionel Tan. Plays it inside to Harith Kanadi, who beats Shawalanwa. All ends up. Harith Kanadi squares it. Might come out now to Umar Akbar, but just too much on it, and Lionel Tan can bring it away. Charlie Michael, Zach Anderson. Charlie Michael, can he pull the trigger? Scored in his last 2. They wanted a handball there, didn't get it, and that's deflected off Ichikawa. And that will be Hougan's 5th corner of the game, but it's come too little too late. Even if they were to score here, just can't comprehend them getting 2 in the just over 3 minutes of added time that are remaining. They have not had a good day at the office, and coming after they were so spirited in the second half against the... Oh, that's a slice clearance that Amy Rescher can tidy up. After they were so impressive and spirited, playing with 10 men to win the second half, as another player's going in the book here. The first Hougang yellow card for Nasrul. They showed so much spirit, down to 10 men, pegged back right on half-time by a controversial penalty against the Young Lions. They came out in the second half. That Charlie Michael free kick spurred them on to what will become a 4-1 victory. But they were outclassed, as many teams have been by the Lion City Sailors in midweek, and now they've been beaten by, again, just a better team. Some games of football, you watch them and say they were unlucky, they deserved something from the game. You couldn't really say that about Hougang today, I don't think. And Clement Teo will have to rally the troops for a big game on Wednesday as they take on Tampines at the Hougang Stadium. Headed away by Hafiz. Final whistle, I believe, has gone at Bishan, and just awaiting confirmation that the Young Lions have won by 2-1. That will see them move off the bottom of the table, and it will also mean that Geylang will be 4 points clear of the teams chasing them when they occupy 4th spot tonight. And with only Tanjung Pagar playing tomorrow, of the teams that can threaten that AFC Cup slot, they will have a more relaxed Sunday than most. Well, this game is now just being played out to the final whistle. Neither team really showing any ambition to go and get the game's 3rd goal, although Umar Akbar has been a busy bee. He's had a good game. Umar Akbar, Darren Tay, another player that's played well. Very few poor performances in this Geylang team today. They've all played their part. Barry Maguire led from the front in the first half. Not been as influential in the second half, Barry Maguire, but look at him now. 2-0 up in the final 60 seconds, still covering plenty of ground. Darren Tay likewise. One slight concern for East Farhan leaving the field with what looked at a serious injury at one point, but he was luckily able to jump off the stretcher, not jump, but get up from the stretcher and walk back to the dressing room under his own steam. So they'll hope, Geylang, that he's fit for their next game, which is another big one for them as they entertain the Lion City Sailors here on Wednesday. Barry Maguire. Confirmation that the Young Lions have beaten Balestier Khalsa by 2 2-1. What a huge win for the Young Lions. Congratulations to Coach Nasri there. Now they're just playing corner flag football. It's Harith Kanadi. Credit to Lionel Tan for wanting to get on with it, to at least keep fighting to the very last, but they're not scoring 2 goals now. Shawal Anwar. That was very, very well marshalled by Adam Hakim. He's another Eagle that's impressed tonight. As our referee Jansen Fu blows for full time. Exhaustion as Harith Kanadi drops to the deck, but he'll sleep well tonight, let me tell you. Geylang International, by far the better team over the 90 minutes. They dominated the opening stanza. Barry Maguire scoring 3 minutes before the break after he was left alone for the second consecutive Geylang corner. He headed the ball comfortably past Ridwan. Maguire, by that point, could nearly have had a hat-trick. Such was the extent to which he was allowed free rein in the middle of the park, approaching the Hougang penalty area. Hougang did improve in the second half. The closest they came was just after half-time, when Charlie Michael almost made it 3 goals in 3 games. But Hougang were caught out again from a set piece, this time from the second phase, as Amy Recker, on as a second half substitute, backheeled the ball cutely past Ridwan in the Hougang goal. Ultimately, Geylang, very good value for the 3 points. They now have an iron grip on 4 spot as they chase AFC Cup football for next season, with a 4-point buffer to Hougang, who remain 5th after Balestier Khalsa were beaten at the Young Lions earlier today, who jump up from 8th to 7th. It's finished here at our Tampines hub. Geylang International 2, Hougang United 0. Well, a reminder, if you check back with the social media channels of the AIA Singapore Premier League, you'll be able to hear the post-match reaction from both camps. I don't think Clement Teo will be a happy camper. This was some of the action in the first half, where Barry Maguire was very much the star of the show. This was an early opportunity for Harith Kanadi that he just pulled away Ridwan for a corner. With the rain falling, those shots that dipped right in front of the keeper troubled Ridwan on a couple of occasions. That was the corner that nearly led to a goal from Ichikawa. After that, there was a corner that nearly led to a goal from Barry Maguire, and after that, there was a corner that did lead to a goal from Barry Maguire. That was the first Maguire effort from a corner that was straight at Ridwan, and he managed to gather at the second attempt. And this was the goal just before half-time that really set Geylang on the road to the 3 points. Credit to Faris Farhan. He had some excellent set-piece delivery throughout the game. And Barry Maguire with a marvellous header, his second goal of the season. And Hougang could have no complaints about being behind at half-time. Arguably, they should have been behind by more than 1. Into the second half, and Hougang at least did come back into the game. So we get another look at this header. Yeah, Hougang did come back into the game in the second half, but this was the clincher. Amy Recker with a very cute back heel. Anders Aplin furious with the marking from the second phase of the set piece. There'll be inquests, I'm sure, at the training ground for Hougang throughout the course of the early part of next week for that. Shafiq Ghani's effort was wide. Charlie Michael had a couple of opportunities, and in truth, if anyone was going to get a third goal for a large time, it looked like it might be Geylang. Ferdhouse coming the closest they came to making it 3-0. The shot count, well, they levelled it up, evened it out a little bit in the second half, but when you bear in mind they didn't register a single shot on target in the first half, that really was the story of the game. It was the first half where Hougang simply couldn't live with Geylang International. And those stats really do illustrate the dominance of the Eagles, who greet their Ultra Eagles fans who are hiding in the nooks and crannies officially outside the stadium and observing social distancing to comply with the excellent COVID regulations that the FAS have brought in place so we can enjoy our football safely here in Singapore. Confirmation of a big result at Balestier at the Bishan Stadium. Balestier Khalsa 1, Young Lions 2. Jacob Muller from the penalty spot right on half-time with another goal for the young skipper. Ravin equalising just before the hour mark. Then Fadley Camis was sent off, and Ryan Stewart 4 minutes before full-time, giving the Young Lions their second win of the season, and it's enough to lift them off the bottom of the AIA Singapore Premier League table tonight. There you have it, confirmation. The Young Lions now above Tanjung Pagar United, who realistically will have to beat, well, they do have to beat Tampines Rovers tomorrow to not finish match day 10 at the bottom of the pile. But the significance of Geylang's win here and Balestier's defeat is that they've now got that 4-point break to the teams chasing them for what is essentially a second qualification spot for the AFC Cup football for next season. It was, of course, a pleasure that Hougang enjoyed at the start of this year before COVID ruined the party, but Hougang with a lot of work to do now if they want to enjoy AFC Cup football next season. Next up for Hougang on Wednesday, another game you can see live in a full slate of fixtures alongside the likes of Hougang United entertaining Tampines Rovers. That, of course, is tomorrow's match from Geelong East, and at the Bishan Stadium, 2 games in 2 days there. The Lion City Sailors hosting Albirex Niigata in that top-of-the-table clash. Third takes on first. Yeah, just going back to Hougang and Geylang's next games. Next up for Hougang, it is a home match here at Hougang Stadium, I should say, against Tampines on Wednesday. And next up for Geylang, they are here again on Wednesday against the Lion City Sailors. We'll sign off for now. Stay safe wherever you are. From a rainy Tampines hub, we'll leave you with the final scoreline here. A big win for the Eagles. Geylang International 2, Hougang United 0.